English shorthand dictation number 41. Dictation speed 150 words per minute. Ready? Start. Sir, this house has discussed the state of economy many times. Many opinions have been voiced and many statistics have been bandied about. The minister also gave some large numbers right now, but economics is not only about numbers. Numbers sometimes do not tell the whole story. Numbers can be antiseptic, but the real story is the human story. When business is down, when people are not selling enough, there is a human cost. When a builder is not able to sell flats, he is not going to build more flats. What does it mean? It means that masons, bricklayers, electricians, plumbers, etc. are not employed by him. When people are less employed, it means they have less money in their wallets. If they have less money in their wallets, it means they spend less. It also perhaps means that they go with empty stomachs. While numbers definitely tell a story, the human story is much more poignant and much more potent. There is a popular joke in academia that if you put 5 economists in a room, you will get 6 opinions. I have an opinion myself. The government really should be focusing on the demand side and not on the supply side. We can have a debate about this much later. But we should never ever forget the human story behind the economy. Under this backdrop, we have a government today which constantly wants to portray a feel-good nationalistic story and glosses over not so pleasant and less than glamorous reality. True introspection will give better answers, but the government's insensitivity or incomprehension of the realities of life for the most unfortunate comes off often, as it did recently with the onion episode. I understand the government's desire to create an economic hub of international standards in India. It is indeed a laudable goal. I am given to understand that the inspiration came when our Prime Minister, during his term as Chief Minister of Gujarat, visited Singapore in 2007, and the Gujarat International Financial Tech City, which is popularly called the Gift City, was envisioned. An over-ambitious and grandiose scheme without thinking about the practicalities of a successful venture is the trademark of this government. Before going into the intricacies of the bill, I would like to point out to this House that there is only one international financial services sector in India today, which is the Gift City. So, when you think about the provisions of this bill, where it will be applied and who are the beneficiaries, you will understand that it will only be applied to the 1,000 acres of land in India's favorite state and to the Gift City in Gandhinagar. It will not apply to anything anywhere else. This law is only for the Gift City. Ask any young MBA or a student of finance or economics of a reputed university where he would like to go out and work. He would like to go out and work in the city. When they say city, they really mean New York, London or Singapore. The minister in her opening remarks also alluded to Singapore and London. What is common among these places? While they have the biggest financial institutions and banks, they also have a great quality of life. They have a great vibe. And more importantly, they have a liberal environment which holds all of that together. It is not enough to have liberal markets. You rather need liberal cities. What this government needs to realize is that it is not just enough to create institutions, build tech parks, and offer tax rebates. The reason why New York, Singapore and London are what they are today is because of the societal infrastructure. The Honorable Finance Minister herself has worked in London, and I am absolutely sure she understands what I am talking about. It takes a lot more than regulations and authorities to create a cultural hub and a business hub. For businesses to thrive, you need to attract global talent. When I say global talent, I do not mean just NRIs or Indians who go for study abroad and come back, but truly non-Indian global talent from the biggest universities. Global talent is definitely not attracted to a nation which exercises curbs on individual freedom, lashes out on dissent, and where rampant moral policing exists. The gift city is highly impractical. It ignores such issues as location and steel availability. Realistically speaking, no young financial professional in the world wants to go and work in a dry state. Let us be very clear. Everybody who works in New York, London, and Singapore wants to have a real life. Nobody wants to go and work in a dry state, especially when they have graduated from the top universities in the world and are coming from cosmopolitan and metropolitan backgrounds. Most companies will be willing to pay higher rents and operate out of Bombay, where the talent pool exists, rather than working out of Gandhinagar. This gift city is also mired in controversy and delays. Grandiose infrastructure targets have failed to materialize. Only 3 million square feet of the 62 million square feet of planned development has been completed so far. IL&FS, the company which was given the contract to set up the city, is being investigated for fraud. It has defaulted on its debt. Despite being a public authority and being within the ambit of the RTI Act, the gift city is not complying with the Act. The project also does not offer itself to C&AG audit. In fact, I have read the newspaper reports that the support services like restaurants which have been set up in the gift city are struggling because there is not enough business for them. Madam, I keep mentioning all this because it is important to note that we do not have any other functioning IFSC elsewhere in India so far. This bill being considered in the House today is applicable to only one place. Therefore, it is imperative for this House to understand the viability. The status of this project is also brought to light before going into the intricacies of this bill. Now coming to the bill itself, while I commend this government in its noble and well-intentioned endeavor to build a global financial hub in India's favorite state, any efforts to streamline the existing regulatory processes must first be questioned on their spirit. There exists the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law must be benevolent. The mindset of the institutions should be to facilitate the business, not just to be the regulators of the business. Here the bill becomes problematic. I have just 4 points to make. In the efforts to get rid of multiple layers of bureaucracy, the creation of the IFSC authority should not lead to a turf war between the new and the old authorities like RBI, SEBI and IRDA. The old authorities like RBI and SEBI will no longer have the power. What happens to any pending proceedings? The creation of a central regulatory authority seems to be a hobby of this government, which does not realize that the tasks of this nature require due diligence and specialization. The officials working in SEBI cannot do the same work as those of RBI. The government must clarify where the human resources for this unified authority will come from. Honorable Speaker Sir, India recently celebrated its 72nd Independence Day with great fanfare, but unfortunately the people of Kendrapara, which is my parliamentary constituency, have not seen a railway line or a train in Kendrapara in their lifetime. But now that dream is going to be fulfilled by the efforts of our beloved Chief Minister and with the cooperation of the Honorable Railway Minister. But at the same time, I have a small request that if possible, a passenger train may be commissioned instead of a goods train. Alternatively, once the goods train is commissioned, the required formalities for starting a passenger train may be completed as soon as possible, and the passenger train can be commissioned later. Once the passenger train is commissioned, taking Kendrapara in the loop, the tourism of Kendrapara will progress by leaps and bounds because of its National Crocodile Park, the sea coasts, markets and other attractive places, employment shall also be generated and new industries will come up. I want to raise another important issue in this House. The Coconut Development Board under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare has come up with a scheme of area expansion in coconut farming by providing a financial assistance of rupees 6,500 for 2 years, and that too in an installment of rupees 3,250 per annum. The board has also initiated the formation of coconut producer societies by associating 40 to 100 coconut growers in a contiguous area with a consolidated minimum of 4,000 to 5,000 palms. The objective is the socio-economic upliftment of the farmers through productivity improvement, cost reduction, efficient collective marketing and processing, and product diversification.